Officer for Greater Bergen Realtors. I want to thank everyone who is attending today, viewing this as the very first Zoom awards session for the Realtors Care Foundation. During these unique times, of course, our organization had a pivot along like everyone else, and we wanted to make sure that we did not lose focus on all the organizations that are doing great work throughout Northern New Jersey and throughout the state. So because of that, we went ahead and moved forward with this Zoom award session. We have a jam-packed session, so I'm just going to go over some logistics for everyone that is. I do want to welcome, of course, our community service members, trustees, board of directors who are watching this. And I want to let you know that if you have any questions, feel free to put them into the Q&A box. If you have any comments, we have also enabled the chat feature.
That means what? They can't hear me?
GBR staff will be reviewing those questions and comments so that everyone is able to answer those questions. I do ask the panelists, when your organization is called, please unmute and you'll be able to go ahead and speak on behalf of your organization. And secondly, I want to make sure that everyone is aware we are recording this session. So if any of the organizations wish to have a copy of it, please let us know and we'll be able to submit that over to you as well. So without further ado, thank you all for joining us today. We have about 40 panelists on. Congrats to all. I want to introduce our 2020 Realtors Care Foundation President, Ms. Aniki Robert-Keeley. The floor is yours.
Hi. So thank you for being flexible. We'd all prefer to be in one room, obviously, and we will definitely hope to do that next year. But thank you for being flexible and being part of it. And I want to stress the fact that we thank you and all you are doing during this pandemic. It's been extra challenging. I'm sure you'll bring all of that up. And even though we'll only give you 2 minutes to speak, you don't have to thank us. We know you're grateful for the money. I will mention how much money you got when I introduce you. Each one will do it in alphabetical order. But that is how we will proceed to do it. And we look forward to hearing for what you have to say. But first, I want to officially welcome the people who made this work, which are, my trustees of the foundation, or not my trustees, the foundation trustees, of which I happen to be president, but Vice President Maureen Munoz, Janet Ginsberg, who is our treasurer, George Ledesma, who is our secretary, and then the other trustees, not to forget, we all worked very hard to make this work. It was Maritza Alaman, Steve Grossman, Rob Coury, Charlene Barbetta, Miriam Lambert, Rob Coury, Jane Roberti, Janine Sutherland, as well as Pat Sudal. I don't know if they're all on. They probably are watching this as well and can hear everything you say too. But thank you, foundation trustees, for all the hard work you did. We had 52 applications. We gave out 45 grants, as a matter of fact, to the tune of over $286,000. That being said, this was because of fundraising, even during our pandemic, which was very hard. We did do some fundraising, even though we didn't have our major events, obviously. But the New Jersey MLS did an outstanding job, was very, very, very generous. And Eileen O'Driscoll is the president. Special shout out to Eileen and her board, as well as Michelle Perino, who is the executive officer of the New Jersey MLS. They've been fantastically supportive. The GBR board, Gene Amsel, who is also a trustee. I didn't mention him as that, but now I'm mentioning him as a trustee, as well as the president of the board. He's in attendance here as well. And the whole board should be there if they are able to watch, as well as the GBR Community Service Committee, of which Janine Sutherland is the chair. So that being said, I think we should launch into doing this and not waste any further time. Again, you do not have to at all thank us. we know you can just say thank you and then launch into your spiel since you only have 2 minutes. I'm going to have to sort of really watch the clock. I have a big clock in front of me. And so don't feel offended if I cut you short, but we've got to move on with what we set out to do, which is really having you give us a brief overview of what you do and do so well. So we'll start with Adler Aphasia Center, and the speaker is Naomi Gewurz. You can unmute yourself, and you received the grant that you asked for at $5,388.
Hi, everyone. So I didn't prepare a formal speech, but will say I joined the Adler Aphasia Center in the middle of September. And so while I have yet to see our program in action because we're working remotely with our members, what we do is we work with adults who have aphasia, which is a communication disorder. It's not a loss of intellect. It's adults that have suffered from a stroke or some other type of brain injury. And so our program, it's not insurance-based. It's a program where people outside of COVID would come to our centers and work together either through our computer lab, jewelry making, cooking, all types of groups that all enhance their communication. It increases their self-esteem and their ability to really connect with family members, friends, go out into the community as they had prior to their injury that resulted in aphasia. Since March, our program, like most, has pivoted to being online. We're still meeting with our members through online groups. For many, just using a device in itself is a challenge, but we have kept up with most of our members. They're connecting to each other. They're still connecting to caregivers. And so we're doing really well with reaching people. I think, the greatest challenge is continuing to have people come to us. So I would say for any of your organizations, if you know of adults that have had a stroke that may suffer from aphasia, we're now on a rolling basis for all of our programs. We operate in person in Maywood, in West Orange, and in Toms River. And then throughout the state, we have communication groups that meet twice a month. So there you go.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm not sure, is Advance on, Kathy?
No, they're going to be on in about 2 minutes, so perhaps we can go to the third.
Jack, we'll jump to Lyle Landon.
Great.
And Jack received $1,000. Go ahead, Lyle. I saw her on before, so she just probably didn't unmute herself.
She needs to unmute.
Okay. I'm having a little bit of Wi-Fi issues, but I think we're here now. Thank you very much. We are delighted to be a recipient again this year. ANJEC stands for the Association of New Jersey Environmental Commissions. Environmental commissioners are volunteers for each town, and their job is to protect natural resources and improve environmental health. I think most people are aware of the problem of air pollution can cause in terms of respiratory diseases like asthma, but you may not be aware of how positive a healthy environment is in terms of self-reporting. So for most people, if they live within 1 mile of a park or green space, they are reporting that they are much healthier and happier. So that's very important, and that's what our grants do, because we do pass-through grants to municipalities in Bergen and Hudson County and other places. So I want to just give you an example that we did last year. Last year in Ramsey, there was a bike path that they are going to be transforming into a bike and pedestrian trail path, and it will link other towns as well as the municipal projects. So you can look for that coming up. And in New Milford, they are creating a natural setting for relaxing and refreshing by cleaning up the entrance to the New Milford Woods and the Hackensack River. And so this construction will include an observation point. So this is what we do to make everything more sustainable in your communities. And we thank you again.
All right. Is Advance on now, Carolyn? Carolyn, Jamie? Kath?
No, they haven't been able to get
Okay.
in yet. They're trying.
That's okay. We will go to Backpacks for Life,
Thank you.
Alexa Modera, and they received $6,500.
Thanks so much. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alexa. I am the Executive Director of Backpacks for Life. We are a New Jersey nonprofit that serves the homeless and at-risk veteran community. We started back in 2014. Our founder, Brett, served in the Marine Corps for 6 years and realized there was a lot of trouble transitioning back home and reintegrating into civilian life. So we've primarily focused on supporting homeless veterans by regularly distributing backpacks to veterans on the streets and in shelters. Each backpack is filled with toiletries, supplies, and most importantly, resources. Our second program, which is probably the most important, is our mentorship program. We provide this to not only homeless, but also at-risk veterans and their families. We believe that not only the veteran, but the family needs support as well to be educated and understand what programs and care are available to them. We received this grant to continue developing a very exciting program we've been working on for about 3 years that we just launched, and it is called Roger. Roger is an online search platform for the New Jersey veteran community that allows veterans to make tailored searches based on things like their income, their zip code or county of residence, certain categories, as well as their discharge status, which relates to the military. So it's providing them tailored solutions. We actually expedited the process to get Roger alive and functioning during COVID because we realized how critical this need was. To date, we have distributed over 7,500 backpacks. And since we launched Roger, we've had over 500 users. We're looking forward to continuing to develop this platform. You can visit it by going to www.roger.vet. And thank you so much to the foundation. We're so grateful for your support this year.
You're welcome. So I'll skip a little bit more further down, and give Advance another chance. Bergen County Court appointed special advocates, Lucy Rosen and Zone Lassine, and they received $7,500.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much. My name is Lucy Rosen. I'm the Executive Director of Bergen County Court Appointed Special Advocates. We advocate for children in foster care. We recruit, screen and train volunteers to be advocates. They're matched to the case of a child in foster care. And they research everything about the child and produce a report to the family court judge every 3 months when the case is reviewed. They provide the judge with additional information to help the judge make decisions regarding the child's needs. We also try and help guide the judge regarding what we think is the best permanent solution for the child. Our goal is to shorten the length of time the child remains in foster care. In addition, our advocates agree to stay on the case until the child is permanently placed. So what happens is the child will have one permanent person in their life who they learn they can rely on. Children in foster care have a lot of transitions. They get moved from home to home. They have different caseworkers. Their case goes through different parts of the family court, and they end up with different judges. So if they have a CASA on their case, it means there's one permanent person who really knows everything about the child. In fact, late last night, I got a call from family court asking to speak to my advocate because they said, this is the only person who really knows and can give us answers to this question. So we play a critical role. Right now, we have, since COVID closed our offices, we have advocated for 127 children from Bergen County in foster care with 114 active advocates. We have attended, since we closed our offices, 372 hearings with informative reports for our advocates. We've done that by pivoting to working pretty much completely online. It's been an enormous transition for us, but I think that our advocates are rising to the occasion. I just wanted to mention an example. I very recently attended a KLG agreement hearing. That's closing a case almost like an adoption, but without terminating parental rights. And at that hearing, I knew it would not be happening without the advocate, because the advocate had behind the scenes spent the past few months facilitating everything necessary to get us across that finish line, from supporting the resource parent and meeting all sorts of needs that she had and putting in supports for her, to speaking at length to the children, understanding their concerns, and then ensuring that the law guardians were aware and could advocate in court to come up with the best possible agreement for the entire family. I cried at that KLG hearing because the daughter spoke and she described the humiliation of being removed from her. She described being told in school to take off her clothes and put on clothes that didn't fit her, getting in her backpack and not getting it back for several months, being put into a bus that had children's services written on the side, sitting for 45 minutes with no one talking to her, and then eventually being driven to her new home past her old home and crying when she saw her parents standing in the street talking to people. But the thing that made me cry the most was how empowered and how determined this girl was. She expressed that she will succeed with her life. And I cried because I knew that our advocates made a big difference in getting this girl's life back on track. So that's a little bit about what we do. I'm very, very grateful for your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucy. Okay, let's jump back and see if Carol and Jamie is on of Advanced Housing, and they received $3,710.
She's still having a hard time. I'll let you know as soon as she gets in.
Okay, because otherwise I'm not going to keep calling, unless I hear from you then. Okay, Bergen Volunteer Medical Initiative, Amanda Missy, and they received $3,750.
Hi, everybody. See a lot of friends here. Yes, we are very grateful for your support. We really appreciate it. Bergen Volunteer Medical Initiative is a primary care healthcare facility that provides free care to low-income working Bergen County residents who don't have health insurance. And the grant that we received is going to be used to support our volunteer program, because the only way that we're able to provide free care to 1,500 patients is by utilizing wonderful volunteers. We've got about 150, 75 of them are clinical, the other 75 are administrative. Everyone is working remotely right now, so we are putting even more energy into our volunteer program to try and keep people engaged throughout the pandemic. So we will be using it to finally purchase some software to help us track our volunteers. It's a big job at the end of the year to count up hours that last year were equivalent to about $700,000 worth of pro bono service. So this is going to help us manage our volunteer program better and help us do some recognition for our volunteers also. So we are presently just doing telehealth. We started a telehealth program in April when we had to shut down. We were seeing patients in person again from July through last week, and now are seeing people remotely again. So it's really important to keep our volunteers motivated, engaged, and feeling like we appreciate them. And this grant is going to help us do that. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Amanda. So next is the Boys and Girls Club of Lower Bergen County. And Joe Licata I saw before with Melissa McKinney. He will speak on 2 grants that they got, each $5,000, so a total of $10,000. Joe?
Hi, everyone. Just wanted to say thank you. It has certainly been a unique and challenging year. And I was talking to someone this morning, and we need, we see the light at the end of the tunnel. And as they say, the tunnel's long, though. And support like this is helping us get to that light. We are kind of in crunch time right now without any further government support coming in and stuff like that. So we greatly appreciate it. The money's being used for our Power Hour programs at our 2 clubhouses in Lodi and Hackensack, helping the neediest of kids in those communities. receive after-school homework help and tutoring. So thank you to all of my fellow nonprofit heads there and whoever, RD professionals and volunteers. Hang in there. We're getting there. 2021's a couple weeks away, and as they say, the light's there. Let's get there together. So thank you, everyone. Happy holidays. Stay safe, healthy, and thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Boys and Girls of Hawthorne, which is, all Boys and Girls Clubs are on their own. So Hawthorne got a separate grant for $5,000. John Bertolo.
Good afternoon. I'm John Bertolo, the CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of Hawthorne. I just want to say thank you to the foundation for your generous donation again this year. We've certainly all been impacted with the COVID pandemic, and our program or our grant that we've received from you will go a long way toward the effects of COVID in hindsight. We're doing remote learning at our club because our school system is doing remote learning. So we, every day have our children on Zoom calls and go to meetings and doing, work in a segregated environment. The restrictions put on us by DCF to have children in our facility is really, really isolating and cutting into the social interaction that our children can have. So our grant is to work with children in self-image, of themselves, building self-esteem, character, dealing with some bullying issues, and basically building relationships and trying to keep that social interaction and social education forefront because they're just not getting that without being in the school. They're really, really independent, and unless they have siblings, their days are very, very limited to what they can do and what they can achieve. So we're looking forward to kicking the program off and starting it, and we'll work around the pandemic. I think we've all become clever and learned how to work around things and think outside the box. So we'll continue to do that, and with the funds you guys provided, we'll be able to run a great program for the children of Hawthorne. We serve about 1,500 children a year. We're limited right now by DCF on how many children we can serve in our facility, but we're just about maxed out, and it's been tough on the children. It's been tough on the staff, and I don't have to tell you that. You're all dealing with that. So again, I want to say thank you to the foundation. This money, I can't say enough for what we'll be able to do with this grant, and congratulations to everybody, and the work you do is fantastic. I actually look forward to this program every year to see what the nonprofits in the greater Bergen County area do. And always look for partnerships that, once we get back to some kind of normalcy, that our Keystone Club, our teens who do community service projects all the time can do. And I am certainly going to look at roger.net. That really, really interests me. And I think our kids are going to love to get involved in that. And hopefully 2021, we'll be able to start some of our programs back in our clubhouse again and get moving. So with that said, thank you again. Everybody have a great holiday season. Stay safe and be well. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Very well. Camp Youth Development Program, speaker will be Cherise Aline. She is also the CEO, and they received $5,000.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. So Camp YDP for over 35 years have provided after-school programs, summer camp programs, and preschools. This year, we currently have only our after-school program, and we opened this summer for our summer camp program. We originally served 129 participants, kids in the northeast section of Patterson. Due to COVID, we're down to 50 for the simple fact of spacing. What is so amazing this year is that the grant that we got last year from the foundation, we're actually using it right now because we purchased computers. So we are open from 7:30 to 6 o'clock Monday through Friday. We do virtual learning, and we do our regular after school program. So our kids are utilizing the computers that we purchased last year for virtual learning, especially for those who did not have access to computers when school originally started. So I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you so much for that, because our computer lab is now a literal classroom, virtual classroom for all our participants. And everyone do not have to share a computer after school. They can go on their own laptops and they can play their games and they can do STEM activities. So we are very grateful for that. This year, we also have a pantry. So because of COVID, we realized that there is a need in our community. So not only are we assisting parents who have to go to work, we maintain their kids here, but we're also providing food for our community members. So camp has grown to more than just looking after kids, but looking more also after the entire family and the community as well. So thank you once again, and we're looking forward to this year's donation. We're happy, we're excited, and we're definitely going to use it to purchase supplies for cleaning. So thank you.
Excellent. And it's nice to hear that the money that we allocated last year is now being used and coming in so very, very appropriate and handy. Center for Food Action, they got $5,000. Lori Olaf.
Hi, everybody. I, again, also want to thank everyone for their amazing work, and the realtors, we are grateful again for partnering again. I run the weekend snack pack program. Children that go to school and are on the free and reduced lunch program are at risk for hunger when they get home. We know a lot of their families need a little extra support. Since March, things have really turned upside down with the program, but we have managed to continue to serve our children. A lot of the schools that had switched to virtual are doing a grab and go. So in addition to the food that they're giving out from the school, they are distributing the snack packs to the families. We've had staff that have gone above and beyond at the schools and actually delivered to families' homes the food and the snack packs that we have. We have partnered with the YMCA, and they were running a childcare program for healthcare workers and needed extra food for the kids. So we were distributing snack packs there. We also were having issues in putting the snack packs together, which is very social, and we have a lot of volunteers typically come and help us do that because of restrictions, and we wanted to be responsible. We have just a few people putting together all of our snack packs, but we are trying to get it done. And the need for food and nutrition in this community has been overwhelming. At all of our sites at Center for Food Action, we have seen unprecedented demand. And if it wasn't for the generosity of the community coming together, we couldn't do the good work that we do. So thank you for supporting us. Everybody is doing amazing work. And once again, I also look forward to brighter days ahead. Thank you.
Thanks, Lori. Center for Hope and Safety, and that's Dr. Julie Miner, and they got $20,000.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Wonderful. Good afternoon, and thank you so much for your support. Center for Hope and Safety is Bergen County's only nonprofit organization providing safe emergency shelter for victims of domestic violence, including children, at our safe house, as well as an array of holistic services to help them rebuild their lives. Our victims become survivors with the support of our community services program, which provides case management as well as essentials such as food and clothing. Project Child, an early intervention creative arts therapy program for children between the ages of 4 through 12, and our transitional program, which provides safe temporary housing as victims become financially self-sufficient. We also have our legal program services that offers free legal representation, counsel, and advice to victims who could not otherwise afford an attorney. We're here to help 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with our confidential hotline. All our calls are answered by trained counselors who provide support, including risk assessments, as well as safety and escape plans. counseling, referrals to internal external resources, and admittance to our safe house for emergency shelter. In regards to COVID, in June, we received many calls to our hotline by victims needing help. Many victims had been trapped in their homes with their abusers during the stay-at-home order. Many victims found refuge at our safe house and continued to do so. Our census at this time is the highest it has ever been. A total of 110 women and children found refuge at our safe house during the pandemic. We welcomed 83 women and children at the start of the pandemic, and 27 who were at our safe house at the onset continued to receive safe housing. In addition to the increase in demand for services, we have seen an incredible increase in the intensity and the severity of the abuse that the victims have experienced. Throughout the pandemic, our safe house has remained open for victims and their children. We've established comprehensive COVID-19 safety protocols to protect from infection, and we're so happy and relieved to report that we have not had a single COVID-19 case. As the pandemic continues, domestic violence is continuing to ravage many lives. The ongoing social isolation, in addition to the related health and economic stress, is a perfect storm for controlling violent behavior behind closed doors. The need for our services is greater than it's ever been. So we are deeply grateful for your ongoing support, the life-saving work that we do. And the generous grant awarded to us will support our pre and after school learning project for the children who reside in our safe house and transitional homes. This project is of particular importance at this time, as our children who are learning remotely desperately need this additional help to succeed and not fall behind academically. So on behalf of all of our clients, including our little one, thank you so much.
Thank you, Julie. And since we're on the Julies, Julie Grapin, Children's Aid and Family Services, and they received $10,000.
Yes, hello everyone. So I work for Children's Aid and Family Services, and we've been around since 1899. The grant was actually for our Baby Basics program, which is free formula and diapers for low-income families, primarily in Bergen County, more recently in Essex County, and some in Passaic County. So Baby Basics addresses the issue of diaper need, which is something that's probably not as familiar to people as food insecurity. But there are families throughout the country, actually 1 in 3 families throughout the country, that just don't have enough money to purchase diapers for their family, for their babies. So Baby Basics addresses that. All of our services are free and supported entirely through philanthropy. In Bergen County, we have 5 different distribution sites where families will come once a month and they will pick up their diapers and their formula if they do need formula. Some of them are on WIC, and some of them, some families do not qualify for WIC. That's one of the things about Baby Basics, is that government assistance programs like SNAP and WIC, you cannot use that money to purchase diapers. So really, unless you have a program or a diaper bank to go to, such as Baby Basics, it can be very difficult for families to get money for their diapers. In New Jersey, there's only about 2% of families who are in diaper need who are actually getting help through organizations such as Baby Basics. So it's something that we definitely still need to grow. We're very thankful for the support of the foundation, because between last year and this year, it's been great. We've been able to buy so many more diapers. The grant this year will enable us to buy about 66,000 diapers for our families. We'll be supporting over 350 families with those. And we're going to have a lot of happy babies and a lot of happy parents. So thank you very much for your support and supporting all these worthy organizations. I love hearing what everyone is doing. It really is a highlight. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Community Meals will have Penny Schildkraut. They received $2,500. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Penny Schulkraut, Executive Director of Community Meals. Thank you so much for this incredibly generous donation. Community Meals is a private, nonprofit Meals on Wheels organization that serves 7 towns in Bergen County. Our more than 80 clients are primarily homebound seniors or disabled adults who are unable to shop or cook for themselves. While the cost of our service is minimal, $4.90 for a hot meal or $4.50 for a cold meal, nearly a third of our clients can't afford these meals. So if a client does require financial assistance, they can apply to us for a subsidy. And if they qualify, they'll receive 2 meals a day at no charge every weekday. However, because we're a private nonprofit and receive no government or state funding, we must raise funds to cover the cost of any subsidized clients. So all of the money from this generous grant will be used to ensure that Community Meals can continue to provide food to our area's most vulnerable seniors so that no one who is hungry is turned away. So thank you very much.
I want to add to that, by the way, that we early on during the pandemic, I believe this was in May, realized that all the food pantries were way down and had special difficulty in finding people who would now deliver. They couldn't, the people who needed the food couldn't come in and use the facilities and whatnot. So the costs for these organizations went way up. And we did a separate fundraiser with the foundation and provided 6 organizations that dealt with similar issues that I just described and gave them each, I believe, an additional $6,000 at the time. That being said, we are on to Emmanuel Cancer Foundation. Joanne Pasantino, I'm sorry if I screw up names, mine is bad enough, and Nessa Rome, and they received $1,000. Joanne?
Anessa, you just have to unmute, please. There you go.
Okay, that's better. Hi, everyone. My name is Inessa Rome, and I'm a Regional Director for Emmanuel Cancer Foundation. Joan Pasantino, our Executive Director, had another meeting, so I will represent Emmanuel Cancer Foundation. We are known in the community as a small foundation with a big heart. And our mission is to help local families who are battling childhood cancer, to help them to deal with all the hardships that come with it. When family gets the most terrible news, your child has cancer, they are in distress. They don't know what to do. One of the parents has to leave their job to be with the child all the time, and the bills piles up. This is where we step in, and we make sure that the family has food on the table, the bills are paid, and they get social work assistance. And we are actually pretty inspired because we are helping local families that are absolutely in distress. And what makes our organization so unique, not only that we provide financial assistance on the monthly basis, we send groceries to the families. If they need to pay bills, they're past due on the bills, they know they can turn to us. We provide emergency assistance. Oftentimes families are in distress and they cannot pay their mortgage. We make sure that we help them pay their bills to avoid eviction. And what makes our foundation is absolutely unique is our social workers. Our professional staff of social workers go to families' houses. In this particular case, in COVID times, they usually on Zoom or on the phone, and they make sure that they provide any assistance they can. Psychological assistance, social work assistance. Sometimes they're just a shoulder to cry on. They advocate on behalf of the families if they need to look for different resources to find a job. And this is where we step in. And we're absolutely honored to be here among the amazing nonprofit foundations. And we're so honored to receive your amazing grants. And just to let you know that your grant is gonna come to is going to be used right away, because 2 days ago, we received the most devastating news. One of our children, Ayushi, passed away, and the family could not pay burial bills. We are going to use your funds to help pay for this unfortunate situation and provide comfort to the family. So unfortunately, this is the reality of life, but this is where we step in and help the families. And we are so grateful for your grant. Thank you.
Vanessa, thank you. Next is Eva's Village. They actually received 2 grants, each of $5,000. I believe Ellen Kuhn, if not with or separately, is going to speak, and then Donna Fico, but I'm not sure Donna is on. So Ellen, go ahead.
Ellen, I believe we're having some technical issues. Can you hear us?
I think that was somebody else. Is Donna Fico on?
No, Donna's not coming on. It's only going to be Ellen.
Ellen. Okay.
Ellen, we see you, and I think you were speaking, but can you hear us? Yeah, we can't hear you. Let's try one more time.
Shall we go to Family Promise and then see if we can fix Ellen?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, Ellen, would you be able to log off and log back in? Let's see if that may help reset your speaker.
Okay, in the meantime, we'll take Kate Duggan of Family Promise, and you received $20,000.
We did, thank you. Boy, what a different world we live in right now. If there's one good thing about COVID though, it's that all the nonprofits, I think, in Bergen County have really come together, and we all recognize that we're all on the same team, and we've developed some really beautiful partnerships over this time period. So for all our friends that are on today, thank you so much. Family Promise offers shelter and support to working families experiencing homelessness. So you can imagine that during COVID, we're quite busy right now. Historically, we shelter families initially at congregations around Bergen County, and that can't happen anymore either. So we have taken to sheltering our families in family-friendly hotels equipped with kitchenettes so that they can stay comfortably with their and safely with their families, especially during quarantining. And our work with our families in our transitional apartments continue as well. One of the things that Family Promise knows is that families need services when they're in shelter and beyond, because even when a family returns back to safe housing, they need to have the tools and resources so that they can remain stably housed. So we are offering all of our services, intensive case management, help with job training, transportation, childcare, all of those services remotely. We have financial literacy workshops. And one of the things we realized over this time period is that our families not only need the workshops, but they need individualized financial counseling. So they're all meeting with financial coaches remotely at least once a month. We've been able to obtain secured credit cards for them to help them improve their credit or build it if they never had it in the first place. Another need that became glaringly apparent to us over the period of COVID is, of course, food insecurity. We've been running a meal program for close to 30 years in Hackensack, and we had to expand that tremendously to include a program in Englewood. Right now in Hackensack, we're on target to over 50,000 meals this year, with another 45,000 having been served in Englewood. In addition, we've been able to to distribute 61 tons of produce in the city of Englewood. So the support of the Realtors Care Foundation ensures that all these vital services continue. And we're so grateful for your support. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kate. Ellen, are you back on for Eva's Village for 2 grants, each for $5,000, total of $10,000. Can you hear us now?
Ellen's back on, but we're still having the same sound issue.
Okay, we'll go to Elizabeth Davis of Geriatric Services, and they received $7,500.
We did, and we are so grateful. Thank you so much for your support. Geriatric Services operates affordable housing and affordable assisted living for older adults. And I should point out that the cost of housing and the cost of assisted living in Bergen County is prohibitively high for older adults on fixed incomes. And so the demand for our services is growing. We opened a senior apartment building several years ago, and we still have 1,000 names on a waiting list. So, so again, our organization is accustomed to working on a very tight budget, but this year has been particularly hard, and particularly hard for our assisted living facility, Brightside Manor, and our assisted living program called PALS. PALS serves older adults living in subsidized housing who have aged in place and need additional supports. So Brightside Manor and PALS are serving a population of frail older adults who, I think everyone is aware, have been particularly hard hit by the COVID pandemic. We're also employing frontline workers who have also been hit hard by this pandemic, and many of our frontline workers are women who are single moms, and so we have a responsibility to our residents and to our staff to ensure that they have adequate supplies of PPE, personal protective equipment, which, if any of you have had to purchase this, you know that PPE is in short supply, and as the demand has gone up, so has the cost. So a case of gloves last year was $30, it's now $90. And we're going through PPE like you can't imagine. So we're so grateful that some of this grant we're going to use to just help with these costs that we couldn't have possibly prepared for when we did our 2020 budget. The other problem that our residents are facing is social isolation. We have been both because of our own responsibility, but also because of state mandates by the Department of Health, we've really had to go on lockdown. And so our residents have been cut off from their families. They've been cut off from their usual visitors, from volunteers, from the faith-based community. And so we've had to find, and even from each other, because we're not permitted to have communal dining or communal activities any longer. So we've had to find creative ways to keep them engaged and stimulated and connected. So we're also using this grant to purchase some tablets so that they can FaceTime with their families. We can connect them with virtual programming like tours of national parks, and even with the faith-based community with church services or synagogue services. And we've also been able to buy some robotic pets. So some of our residents really miss our pet therapists who are coming in. Some of our residents, particularly those with dementia, are finding it very difficult to be kind of confined to their rooms. They're very restless, they get agitated, and having a robotic pet, a dog or a cat, depending on their preference, is extremely soothing and therapeutic. So we are tremendously grateful. It's been a very tough year, but the support that we've gotten from the community has been reassuring and tremendously helpful. And so thank you, and best wishes, and let's hope that next year is an easier year.
Thank you, Elizabeth. We'll go to Maureen Cameron of Habitat for Humanity of Bergen County, please. And they received $5,000.
Yes. Hi. It's so nice to see a lot of my friends here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Terrific. I wish we were all in person, but it's great to hear from so many of my colleagues in the community and the amazing work that everyone is doing. This is the first time we've received funding from the foundation, and we are sincerely appreciative of the support. It will go towards our current build, which is a 3-bedroom, single-family home that is being built in Westwood, and that will be available to a veteran family. So to my colleagues in the veteran community, please visit our website for more information. But Habitat Bergen has been building affordable housing for 28 years. In Bergen County, we have built 28 affordable homes. We believe that low-income families should not allocate more than 33% of their income on housing. But more importantly, we believe that home ownership, as opposed to renting, is particularly impactful in helping families break the cycle of poverty. Habitat research demonstrates that home ownership strengthens communities. Homeowners stay in their home 4 times longer than renters. They report higher levels of life satisfaction and are more likely to be engaged in their communities. Clearly, in the age of COVID, there's never been a more important time to have a safe and decent place to call home. We rely on our amazing volunteers to do our work. We are bringing volunteers on site at the moment at reduced capacity. Of course, we don't have a crystal ball, and we're monitoring this dynamic situation on a day-by-day basis. We also want to make everyone aware that we have a Restore. It's a retail outlet in Westwood. For those of you who used to shop at the old Marty shoe outlet, we sell donated and new furniture, construction supplies, as well as household items. The Restore is doing incredible work. A lot of people are shopping. We are, again, with reduced capacity volunteers there, and we just encourage you all to come out and to visit the Restore. But again, we're extremely appreciative of the support, and please reach out to me if you have any questions.
Thank you so much, Maureen. Next is Holy Name Medical Center Foundation, Kathleen Davey, and they received $2,500.
Thank you so much. It's great to be with everybody this afternoon. We're a first-time grant recipient and very proud to be with so many esteemed agencies receiving support today. As with everyone, it is an very interesting and challenging time to be able to provide the wonderful services that we all are trying to provide. Our grant was a small, interesting project that Holy Name is doing at the Villa Marie Claire in Saddle River, which is our residential hospice program. It's a very unique live-in program that allows both families and people at the end of their life to really receive the kind of care that provides quality of life and engagement for every moment that's remaining of their life. One of the things that we have there are rescue horses that are therapeutic and certainly available to our hospice patients, but we saw the opportunity to further expand our programming and reach out to the community. So we have a equine assisted therapy program there that really supports veterans struggling with post-traumatic stress. We work with cancer patients, various support groups. Particularly, we work with some young adults who are dealing with suicidal ideation, children on the spectrum, a wide variety of individuals that really through the equine therapy can be assisted. This particular grant is simple, but it allows us to winterize and fully enclose a pole barn for the horses so that we can continue to offer these programs 12 months a year. It's very important for the continuation of therapy that there is consistency and that normal schedule that the individuals are used to receiving, that they can continue that, particularly right now in the challenging times of COVID. People were able to still be involved in the therapy programs because they were outdoors, because it is a large space and allows for social distancing. So with this grant, we'll immediately begin to enclose the pole barn, and we'll offer new programs, more programming, and be able to offer that 12 months a year. So we are very grateful. Again, we want to thank you, and we wish everyone continued success with the just awesome, amazing work and the way all of you are impacting lives. So it's a joy to be with you today.
Thank you, Kathy. And I see Ellen Kuhn fixed. So Eva's Village is now on with 2 grants each for $5,000. Ellen?
Yes, hello. Thanks for your patience. We appreciate the opportunity to speak today. We're located in Patterson, and we provide a recovery-oriented community of supportive services and care that starts by addressing the basic human needs for food and shelter. Your support for our community kitchen and our apartment program helps us provide vital lifelines for members of our community who are struggling with food and housing insecurity. The individuals we serve are also challenged with high rates of addiction and mental illness, unemployment, and lack of access to medical care. The community kitchen has always been the heart of our organization. When we started nearly 40 years ago as a simple soup kitchen, we quickly realized that the people who came for a meal were not just homeless, but had complex needs related to poverty, including addiction and mental illness. And we quickly added supportive services to help meet those needs. Last year, we served more than 5,000 people through our various programs. Since the pandemic, of course, we've had to meet the challenge to adapt all of our programs to protect everyone's health and safety by strategically deploying limited resources and staff to keep our doors open. And we have always kept our meal program open. It continues to be a lifeline for many. Last year, we served 300 to 400 meals a day, and for a total of nearly 500,000 meals over the course of the year. Since the pandemic, of course, operations look different. We're still serving over 300 meals a day. On March 16th, when the state declared a lockdown, we switched to serving to-go meals the very next day on March 17th. We never missed a beat, and we've served over 180,000 meals since then. And the individuals we serve have been hardest hit in the pandemic. Many of them, especially with related unemployment and illness, many have had to choose between rent or food and medicine. And last week we heard on the line from an individual who was standing on line to get a meal. He actually said, if I couldn't get a meal at Eva's today, I'd be digging in the dumpster. And our kitchen staff report that people who used to volunteer in the kitchen, they now see them standing in line for a meal, and they have seen many new faces. So the need is definitely growing. And the kitchen program, even though we can't welcome people inside to sit down for a meal, it continues to be a portal and an entry point to our other supportive services. And your support for our affordable and supportive housing program is part of a solution to homelessness. It helps these individuals stay out of shelters and hospitals and nursing homes. We have a total of 50 apartments, 26 for people with special needs, and 24 for affordable assisted. They can also access the additional services. We have a full-time case manager who assists residents with, it could be from coordinating their medications to bill paying, to connecting them to social services in the community, running social and education programs, and all the residents have access to our addiction treatment, our kitchen programs. They can come for a meal and other support programs. So I'd just like to thank you again for your support for these two really vital programs that are needed now more than ever.
Thank you, Ellen. Mary Lyons. Kathy, is she not there?
Mary just got disconnected, so we're trying to reconnect with her.
All right, then also I want to make some remark in terms of juvenile education and awareness. Dr. Sandy Shevik, she had to leave the meeting. I don't know if you guys saw it in chat, but she made a little speech on chat explaining what they do. And the same is actually true for Spectrum for Living, Chris Perry. So if you look in your chat boxes for those two organizations, they will not be called out, but definitely had a little speech prepared.
Anna Kay?
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Mary left us a message saying that she needed to leave the Wi-Fi area. And
Okay.
she was so happy to see so many friends in the Bergen County nonprofit community at the meeting. And they provide transportation for those 65 or older, along with the visually impaired, to medical, social, employment, and everyday errands with the help of volunteer drivers. And they're extremely grateful to the foundation for their very generous grant, as it will make a difference to them being able to help sustainability through the pandemic.
Okay, thanks, Kathy. Okay, so we'll go to Meals on Wheels, and that's Jeannie Martin, and they received $10,000.
Thank you so much. I think I'll echo everybody else's response. It's so good to see so many friends and colleagues in the nonprofit world. And didn't realize how much I missed you guys, but thank you so much for this. So the grant that we've applied for is going to help us to transition again into remote meals. What we're doing now, what we did back in March is we quickly went from delivering 5 days a week to delivering once a week frozen meals, 5 frozen meals. Back in July, we went back to delivering Monday through Friday to our clients. In March, I had to purchase a freezer to store all the frozen meals. It was pretty crazy. We lost a lot of volunteers because most of our volunteers are seniors themselves, so they were afraid to be involved, to get out and deliver meals. So back in July, we went back to regular meal delivery, and probably next week, we're going to go back to frozen. I'm myself quarantining this week. I was away last week out of state, so this week I'm quarantining at home. I had a test this morning, and hopefully I'll get that tomorrow and it'll be all clear. But our staff back in March went remote. I was the only one in the office, and it was difficult. We'd get together, not even get together, we'd socially distance from each other once a week to catch up on things and pack the frozen meals. We're back to our full slate of volunteers. We lost our first driver to COVID last week. He had been out for, I guess, 3 weeks. And when I talked to him the week before, he's like, Gina, I probably could come back, but I just want to keep everybody safe, so I'm not going to come in. And then the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, he passed away. He was only 34 years old. So it's the reality of our life right now. So we had to be really careful. Our senior population that we deal with is, really at risk. So we have to be extremely careful. We will be using the grant money to purchase additional sanitizing equipment, more PPE, and some computers for us to work remotely, because we were all using our personal our personal computers at home. And most of my staff has family, so they were fighting with their kids and their husbands to use their computers. So we'll be purchasing some computers for them to work at home. We're also going to be starting, this grant is not going to go towards that, but social isolation is a really big issue for our seniors. So we will be doing a music therapy program for seniors. We're trying to figure out how to do that, but we're partnering with the PALS program, with the JCC on the Palisades, and also with Montclair State University music therapy program to try to bring music therapy to our clients. So I really appreciate this very generous grant, which will help not just feed our seniors, but also help us to keep in touch with them. So thank you so much.
Jeannie, thank you. And I'm sorry to hear about your driver, and I hope you feel better too. We were actually doing the grant application, and one of our trustees, as we spoke, literally went down with COVID. She's doing great. She's probably in attendance listening. It is incredible. We'll go to Oasis. They received 3 grants, actually, $10,000, $5,000, and $10,000. And Jennifer Brady and Hamna Poole will speak on their behalf.
Hi, everyone, and thank you so much. I was so sorry to hear about the passing of our colleagues. Driver, these are such incredibly challenging times, but it strikes me as I listen to all of these amazing organizations, the importance of the work that Realtors Care Foundation is doing and the breadth of the organizations that you're able to support during, again, these challenging times. Under normal circumstances, OASIS is, and I guess we still remain, a anti-poverty organization dedicated to lifting some of the most impoverished women and children in our community out of poverty. We do that primarily through education and wraparound services. And 2 of the 3 grants that we received are for our educational programs. First for our GED program, and those are for adult women to earn their high school equivalency degree so they can go on to college, get jobs, become great role models for their children. I think it's important to note that the average woman who's coming to us, her household income is only $16,000 a year. So we provide all of the wraparound services that these women need: free childcare, food, clothing, diapers, so that they can focus on their education and not be worried about, the basic necessities of life. The second grant that we were awarded is for our after school academy. And like all of our programs, with the exception of food, that program is still running and running remotely. And it's a little bit different than your average after school program because we have certified teachers in each of our classrooms, helping children who have such deep challenges in the school system. Many lack basic English skills, and many don't have parents at home who speak English. So shifting to this virtual world has been especially challenging to them, but we've been there every step of the way, teaching the parents how to use the internet, log on to Google Classroom, and really providing them with that social emotional support that they need, being so very isolated, many in overcrowded apartment buildings, and just not able to safely leave their homes. And the third grant, I think, is the one that is going to speak the loudest to all of you, especially to my colleagues in the hunger relief world. And that's for our grab and go meals and our food pantry. Under normal circumstances, our soup kitchen provides about 150 meals a day. And at the height of the pandemic, we hit a high of 1,900 meals a day. The need here in Patterson is just unspeakable. We have a saying here that we use over and over again: those with the least are affected the most by the pandemic. And when I signed on to this Zoom call today, as I looked out the window, the line for food was literally around the block. I can see around the corner from my office on the 3rd floor of women lined up just waiting for their grab and go meals and their food bags to take home so they have food in their pantries. Like our colleagues over at EVA's, we haven't missed a day here. We've been here providing support in the virtual learning space and with our hunger relief efforts here every day. And we are committed to doing that until we can resume our normal operations. And we certainly look forward to that. But it buoys us beyond words to have all of your support and to know that you're behind us and cheering us on. And so I wish you all happy holidays and just stay safe and keep doing the good work you're all doing.
Thanks, Jennifer. Next up is Chris Dowd of Project Literacy of Greater Bergen County, and they received $5,000. Apparently my internet is in and out a little bit, but I can't seem to fix it. Chris?
Chris,
Chris, you're on mute. Sorry, George. Chris, you're on mute, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Well, my thing says mute. I don't want it to mute. Hey, I just wanted to say that I'm honored to be on the same screen with all of these folks, because this is truly an all-star team of nonprofits in Northern New Jersey. And our team captains at the Care Foundation should be very proud of what they've done for us and with us so far. Keywords today seem to be under normal circumstances. And under normal circumstances, as many of you know, Project Literacy provides free one-on-one tutoring in adult basic literacy. That means ESL, reading, writing, and arithmetic, and mathematics portion for the high school equivalency exam. We also have a scholarship program for our students who cannot afford their classes at Bergen Community College. About 80% of our students are low income, but as many of you know, we are also housed in the Bergen Community College building in Hackensack. So when they closed down on Friday the 13th, we did too. And so we've been working from remote ever since. Now, there's something called the National Assessment of Adult Literacy, which is a national survey. And they estimate that 16% of the adults in Bergen County are lacking in basic literacy skills. That means 145,000 of our neighbors cannot read beyond a 3rd grade level. A little surprising to a lot of people. We nonetheless have moved to distance learning resources. That means FaceTime and Zoom. In fact, because we are almost an entirely volunteer organization, except for a couple of underpaid staff members, we are treating our tutors to Zoom. We're paying for the Zoom contract for many of our tutors to continue to work with their students. When we can, we're providing tablets or other digital devices to students who cannot afford it, trying to get them involved into hotspots, all of the various options that exist. But since Friday the 13th, the college has closed, and we share an awful lot of our students with the college. So they're a big referral source to us. And so our numbers have diminished. We're about half head count in students and tutors as we were a year ago. But a year ago, for example, the previous year, were my numbers. We provided 7,600 hours of free tutoring in 1 year for a value of about $287,000. It's going to drop off this year, but we're seeding the future with grants like the one we're getting from the CARE Foundation. Very grateful for that. We have some of our students. Oh, there's one thing I wanted to say also. Among our students are a certain number of professionals who nonetheless fall into the low income area because they are professionals from foreign countries. There has been an influx of Turks, professionals from Turkey. Now, we have in our student body a dozen Turkish physicians who studied everything they could to get their doctorate degree except English. So they've come to us to learn the language. And as soon as the governor passed a ruling saying that foreign licensed professionals can be given a temporary license to work with the first responders here, we've had several of our students sign up, and some of them are actually on the front line working with the doctors. So we've been able to make a contribution during the virus. Some of these students are also taking over tutoring on their own or providing special classes. We do special classes, Zoom classes in U.S. women's history, and the woman who lead the change is one of our students. We have a movie club. We have a movie club where one of our staff gives a movie assignment to students and to tutors, and they discuss that. And they sit around their screen and chat for a couple of hours every week. It's still moving along well. We hope that it will get better in the future, but I think we all hope that things will get better in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Nancy Mecca, Rebuilding Together, North Jersey, and they received $20,000.
Hi.
Like you. Yep, there you go.
Okay, I've got Jorge in front of me, but that's okay. Nancy Mecca from Rebuilding Together North Jersey, thank you for your grant. We rebuild homes for low-income families, people with disabilities, seniors, and veterans. Not only do we do homes, but we do community centers. And I saw Sharice earlier on the program. We did some work at Camp YDP, and we've done work also at Kumac in Patterson. We also have a roofing program going on right now with GAF, repairing or replacing roofs for first responders. That's going very well. We have an aging in place program. We have a fire and safety program. We do ramps with the Bergen County Sheriffs. In the last few years, we've been helping individuals who are physically disabled with a debilitating disease, whether it be multiple sclerosis, cerebral palsy, things like that, where we've renovated bathrooms so that wheelchairs can go into them, a roll-in shower, ADA toilets and sinks. We've made some really important changes in homes that affect people's lives and will affect them forever. And that's a really good thing about Rebuilding Together North Jersey. I'm going to keep this short because I know we're running long on time. As part of our fire safety program, we install 10-year lithium battery smoke detectors and fire smoke alarms. And the happy story about this is a year or so ago, we installed the smoke detectors, and our executive director got a phone call from a gentleman saying, "Hi, I'm calling to say thank you." And she said, "For what?" And he said, "For saving my life." And he told us the story that about a month before, we had been there and installed these detectors. And over the weekend, there was a gas leak in his stove in the kitchen. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, the carbon monoxide detector went off. So we literally saved this guy because he didn't have one prior to this. And he was so grateful to us. And it's, a heart-wrenching story. And I just want to end again saying thank you to the Realtors and the foundation for this lovely grant. We can use it and we're going to change people's lives forever. Thank you again.
Thank you, Nancy. Lisa Goldstein of the Reed Foundation for Autism, and they received $5,000.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa Goldstein, the Vice President of Development for the Reed Foundation for Autism, and I'm also the Director of Sales for Greens Do Good, which is a vertical farm in Hackensack. So we have a few entities under the foundation. We have Reed Academy, which is a school for ages 3 to 21 individuals with autism. Currently we have 42 students, and we have the more impaired population. So it's a one-to-one program located in Oakland. Then we have Read Next Day program, which is for adults with autism, 21 plus. And currently, we started that about 3 years ago. We have about 14 individuals in that program right now. We also started Read Next Residential a few years ago. And right now we have 2 homes in Glen Rock. One has currently 4 adult males. The other one we just purchased, so that will have 4 adult males as well. And we also have an apartment in Woodridge that we just placed a sister and a brother. They're twins, and they were in our program, and now they're in an apartment together, a 2-bedroom apartment in Woodridge. To add to our collection of Reed Academy, Read Next, we also have Greens Do Good, our vertical farm located in Hackensack. That's an indoor vertical farm where we grow and sell basil, lettuce, microgreens, arugula, and kale. We actually donate to Eva's Village, and we also employ individuals with autism. So thank you for your grant very much. That is going towards a fence for our home in Glen Rock. because we really have to be safe with our adults. They can elope at any time, excuse me, elope at any time. And this way they have a beautiful backyard that they are free now to have fun and to hang out and to sit in the backyard. And we know at all times that they are safe. So I appreciate your grant very much. This is, I must say that this is truly a wonderful group of individuals. Listening to all of you speak about your organizations really is just so heartwarming that thank you for allowing me to be part of this, and thank you again for your grant.
Thank you, Lisa. Sean Adams of Roots and Wings, and they received $5,000.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sean. I'm the executive director here at Roots and Wings. It is, like everyone else has said, it is such an honor to be with so many other amazing organizations. I'm really humbled to be a part of this. And again, we are so thankful for the grant. You know, this year has been tough, and the grant really does help. So at Roots and Wings, what we do is we provide young adults who've aged out of the foster care system with safe housing, education, counseling, employment support, life skills, food, transportation, and really the most important thing is a sense of community and belonging. It's important to know most of our clients have lived in anywhere between 10 and 20 different foster homes before joining us. And for many of them, that's more than one move per year. This is the first time. Our program lasts about 2 to 3 years, and it's really the first time that they've had a stable living environment probably for most of them for most of their lives. So this year we've been able to provide housing and support for 25 young adults. We take young adults from all over New Jersey who've been in the foster care system, and we have housing in both Union and Morris counties. So through the RISE program, we serve 25, and through the FLY program, we've served 20 young people. And FLY provides case management services and support services to youth who've aged out of the foster care system. Normally we work in schools. We've worked at MSU, and we're going to be working with St. Peter's in Jersey City. But we've really tried to this year adapt the program to serve even more aged out foster youth, and we turned the FLY program into an outreach team. And right now we're really trying to focus on Jersey City to provide wraparound services and partner with other agencies to make sure that these very vulnerable young people have everything that they need so they can really navigate through the pandemic. So we will do everything from providing basic case management, food, transportation stipends, connections to schools, therapists, psychiatrists, everyone that they could possibly need. We really try to make sure that all their needs are met so that they're safe. We wish that we had more housing, and we're hoping that, you know, we can really open up more housing to serve more people in the future. And it's been so challenging, you know, for our young adults, because this year, because of their trauma, they generally feel fairly isolated because they don't have the family support that most young people do. And this year, because they've had to move seemingly overnight from in-person classes to online classes, many of them have ADHD and depression and anxiety disorders because of their trauma. So they felt even more isolated being online. So we've really rallied our staff, our volunteers, and our mentors have really worked diligently with our young people to make sure that they feel supported, and they've been able to make this transition and learn the skills of how to really be able to focus online, which is so much harder, as I'm sure we're all aware. Also, in terms of fundraising, we faced so many challenges, and we had to adapt to a virtual platform. So these funds have been such a help to us to really buy PPE for our young people, food, support them with the basic necessities. Many of them lost jobs because of the pandemic, and we've had to help them pivot as well. And we're just so thankful to be a part of this, this grant and this amazing group of people that I didn't really get a chance to know before. So this has been a thank you. And if anyone's interested, you can check out our website at rootsandwingsnj.org. Thank you again.
Thank you, Sean. Kathy Baviello, she is with Rutherford Senior Citizen, also known as the 55 KIP Center, and they received $1,000. I see Kathy. Kathy, you have to unmute. Yep, there you go.
Hi, I'm Lauren. Hello. Kathy had to step out for a second because of an emergency. Is she the last person to go, or is anyone else has to go?
Whatever you know what, we'll go back. Scott, are you on? and ready to talk? So we'll come back.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay,
Okay,
hold
yeah.
on. Scott, Kathy, let us know. Let us know when Kathy is available, okay?
All right, thank you so much. I apologize for the inconvenience.
It's totally fine. Emergencies happen. Scott, go ahead. And sorry, we have no food, but we will next year. I saw your earlier text.
Well, I just want to say that I want you to know how important it is for you to have that luncheon. You know, people might say, well, why are you spending money on that? And you just give out the envelopes. And I would say to you, as people have said, it's so great to see everybody. There's literally only 2 or 3 times the entire year that we have the opportunity for all of us to interact with each other and discuss what we're doing. So I do appreciate the fact that you do have that event every year, and we look forward to seeing you next year. I'd also like to say that we are very proud to announce that for the 3rd year in a row, we have been voted the organization that is the most appreciative of receiving the money of all the organizations. So we thank you for that. And I feel very strongly that, hold on. Oh, I feel very strongly, yeah, that we lost you for a second. I feel very strongly that I've told people that I truly believe that the online community from the nonprofits have been the ones that have done the best to transition from in-person to online out of government versus nonprofits or the corporate world, except of course the realtors. That goes without saying. But I mean that I'm amazed at the way that all these agencies have actually, they've had to do what they've had to do, which is go to online. And what we've done at the Southeast Senior Center is we used to have 35 classes a week, and we're down to 12, but we moved them to online. And I'm amazed also at our seniors. A lot of people thought that the seniors would not be able to do this. They transitioned very well from in-person to online. So we're very appreciative because you're supporting our classes, which of course are good not only for the physical health but mental health. We've heard that throughout the afternoon. We don't charge any membership fees, so the amount of money that's coming in would have been offset by the membership fees. So again, thank you so much. And I'd just like to do one last little plug. Some of you have seen me. I've DJ'd before for many of the organizations that are here. Next Friday, I'm doing an online holiday party for seniors. So LYD228@AOL.com, or just get in touch with me. It's I'll give you the information, and any senior, it's open to anybody. We're gonna have a holiday party for all seniors in Bergen County. I will be the guy providing the music. But thank you again, and great seeing everybody.
Scott, I want to ask you something because you just put a plug in my head, because you always volunteer and come to play tennis at the golf and tennis outing, which we very much hope to hold this year and always raises a lot of money. Perhaps you'll want to do something at our harvest beefsteak dinner in October of next year, and you are very welcome to sing for us or something.
Well, no, I don't sing.
What do you do?
I play music. I'm a DJ, so I play
Perfect.
recorded music. So
You're
the answer is
hired.
yes. I'm in.
Making an executive decision. I'm no longer the president
No,
or
and
coordinator. You're hired.
You can get half the people on this thing I've done DJ for, and they'll I would like to think they would testify that I do a nice job.
I'm sure of it. All right, so
Okay, thank you.
sidetrack everybody. Megan Dunphy and Social Service Association of Ridgewood and vicinity, and they received $5,000.
Hi, everybody. I'm Megan Dunphy from Social Services, and thank you very much. We're very, very happy and honored to receive this grant. And I love hearing all of you talk about how everybody's persevered during these trying times. It's really something what everybody has been able to do. We're an organization that we pride ourselves on saying we're neighbors helping neighbors. And the way we operate, our mission is to provide food. We have a food pantry in Ridgewood, New Jersey. And we help with emergency rent and utility assistance, plus supporting other type of services to individuals and families. As of right now, to date, we have over 500 people that we're helping in the local area. We operate within 6 towns. It's Ridgewood, Glen Rock, Midland Park, Hohokus, Wyckoff, and Waldwick. And out of the 500 people that we're helping right now, 200 children. So as with everybody else, how things had to change when the pandemic really hit. We had gone from, the people coming in and to the food pantry, doing their shopping, to changing a system of doing a bag drop off system of food staples to all the families that we could help, along with then this fall we were able to go back, or this summer actually able to go back, and the people could come back to the office and pick up the food. We had a special system. Our whole program, the association, is volunteer based. And we have 2 employees that work with us who are wonderful and really manage the whole scope of everything. But the entire community really, really is how we get through everything here in the area. And we couldn't be more thankful. So we really appreciate this, this grant, because it's going to go a long way with helping feed our clients. Thank you
so much. I'm going to jump to Barbara Hand at West Bergen Mental Health Care because she has to leave. They received a grant for $5,000.
Thank you so much for allowing me. I apologize. I have another Zoom at 2 o'clock that I just have to get ready for a bit. I just wanted to quickly thank all of you, thank the foundation. We are a first-time recipient, and we are so incredibly grateful for this. And one of your wonderful members, Robin Tarda, is really largely responsible for this. She's a tremendous volunteer at West Bergen Mental Health Care. She really makes such a difference to our clients on a regular basis, and she was the one that made us aware of this grant. So I want to do a shout out to Robin and thank her. It's also really inspiring for me to hear from all of you and the wonderful work that you do in the community, and I'm really honored to be part of this illustrious group. West Bergen Mental Health Care has been in existence since 1963, and we are a community mental health care agency that provides mental health programs and services for children, adults, chronically mentally ill patients who have been hospitalized and now are living in group homes that we manage, families. We provide all sorts of services to help those who are struggling. And as you can imagine, the need for our services is really more critical than ever. What we do is provide quality and affordable mental health because we have a sliding scale. So for those who are unable to afford the cost of therapy, which is, some of you may know, is incredibly expensive and oftentimes insurance doesn't cover it, we do adjust our fees. We do take insurance, number one, and we do adjust our fees to take that into account if someone is financially challenged. But the clinicians that we have are top-notch and very well trained and invested in providing hope and healing. 2020, I think, has been, as you've all said, a year like none other. And I would say that probably one of the largest collateral damages from COVID will be and will continue to be mental health. I think that is going to exist long after a vaccine comes and fixes, if you will, the medical aspects of it. The mental health repercussions will continue and persist. So the services that we provide are more critical than ever. And the numbers of people that are calling us now for help, desperately needing it, are increasing exponentially. So the funding that you provide helps us to be able to meet that need. When COVID hit in March, we were not doing any teletherapy. We did 100% in-person therapy. We had to pivot within 72 hours to a teletherapeutic model, and we were not technologically prepared for that. So what we've had to do is invest in technological infrastructure in order to do that, because for the foreseeable future, teletherapy is how we treat our clients. So that is what your grant is providing to us. It's enabling us to buy computers, to be able to offer and expand our teletherapeutic services. So on behalf of my CEO, Michael Tizzoli, and our entire team, and the clients in our community who desperately need the services, I thank you all from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you, Barbara. Okay, we'll go to Eileen Isaacs. As I said, in chat was Chris Perry, because for Spectrum, and I don't know if you read it, but otherwise scroll back and you can read that. Table to Table is Eileen Isaacs, and they received $5,000.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you very much for this first-time grant. And boy, once you learn what you've been missing, what a great group of people. It really is humbling to be amongst this group of colleagues. I'm Executive Director of Table to Table, and we are Northern New Jersey's first and only dedicated food rescue program, picking up food from supermarkets and food distributors and other commercial food establishments that's healthy and good to eat, but for a variety of reasons, were we not to pick it up, would be wasted or thrown away. It's not dented cans or boxes with unrecognizable labels. It's really good, fresh, wholesome stuff, fresh produce, milk, dairy, proteins, and some whole grains. With our fleet of 7 refrigerated trucks, we deliver it free of charge to a multitude of partner organizations. And these organizations, many among the group here, provide services of one sort of or another to people who are hungry. Since our founding in 1999, we've rescued enough food for over 220 million meals and prevented 72,000 tons of waste from ending up in landfills. This grant award from Realtors Care Foundation will enable us to bring 50,000 meals into Bergen County specifically, essential this year as the number of hungry people in the county has doubled since March. And currently over 20,000 of our neighbors are relying on donated food. These deliveries will help single mothers, older adults, young children, and struggling families who find that they simply cannot make ends meet now. Fresh food is essential to development, to growth, and to the ability to learn and stay healthy, and impacts pretty much every population that's in need in the community. So again, we thank you, Greater Bergen Realtors and the Realtor Care Foundation. You will not only help us feed thousands of our most vulnerable neighbors, but with your help also, we're going to bring hope and dignity and joy to so many people who have so little of those things. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Eileen. And next is Audra Hoffman. She's with CTC Academy, and they received $5,000.
Thank you. The CTC Academy is a nonprofit organization that serves students with severe disabilities and those who are medically complex, ages 18 months through 21 years. CTC provides creative, tailored education and advanced therapies for students and support services for their families. CTC has been serving severely disabled children and young adults of New Jersey for more than 70 years. We were originally named the Cerebral Palsy Center of Bergen County and the Children's Therapy Center. Our facilities, programs, and scope have grown to meet an ever-increasing need, and students with disabilities such as cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, and genetic disorders and deletions are currently receiving services in a warm and nurturing environment at our 2 locations in Fair Lawn, New Jersey and Oakland, New Jersey. Traditionally, funding for CTC is critical for specialized programs, special adapted equipment, and capital improvements. But obviously, this pandemic has presented incredible challenges, and the cost to address these challenges has been enormous. To date, we have spent over $200,000 on PPE and modifications to our campuses in order to safely open our doors to the students and staff of the CTC Academy. Remote learning and therapies has been particularly challenging for our population. Our students who are medically fragile and severely disabled require very specific devices, manipulations, and modifications in order to participate. Without in-person therapies, our first week back was literally painful for some of our students due to their tone. Parents have been desperate for our services to continue in any way in person, and we have been successful in providing in-person service as much as possible, and we are starting up again on Monday. Due to the fact that our students cannot wear masks, we have implemented safety systems that are more comprehensive than what is typical, verging on the level of a medical facility. We've installed hydrogen peroxide and reverse air exchange systems, face masks and shields, plexiglass partitioning, nighttime sanitizing systems, foggers, and so much more. I want to thank Maria Gesualdi, who is newly part of the Realtor Care Foundation, but an old timer with us at CTC Academy. And she recommended that we apply. Maria's daughter, Teresa, has been a smiling, shining star at our school for many years. And I'd like to also thank the entire foundation for helping support our efforts to continue to keep our children, young adults, and staff safe at school. And I want to thank you all very much.
Thank you, Audra. And so there are two new trustees actually of next year that I didn't mention, and Maria is one of them. The other one is Terry O'Connor. I don't know if they're in attendance today, but anyway, they might be hearing me, but that is what's happening. The Jillian Fund is next with Liz Campbell and a $3,000 grant.
Hi, thank you so much. We are a first-time grant recipient. The Jillian Fund is actually a fairly young organization. We began in 2013 following the death of Lillian Gorman, who lost her battle to leukemia at the age of 19. The Jillian Fund provides financial assistance to families of children with serious illnesses. Most of the children have cancer. About 10% of the children end up losing their battle to the disease. The financial assistance we provide is really to ensure that parents and children, parents can spend time with their children when they're in the hospital for extended periods of time. The children can be in the hospital for weeks, sometimes months. The course of treatment can sometimes last up to 4 years. I like to say that we give the gift of time together when it matters most. So the Jillian Fund pays rent, mortgage companies, utility companies, transportation expenses directly to service providers on behalf of the families. We also pay a part-time social worker position at our partner hospital, which is the Sinceri Children's Hospital in Hackensack. Since we began, we've helped 245 families. Some families we've assisted more than once because their children has relapsed. This year, during the height of the pandemic, we also provided emergency financial support to 75 families through gift cards so that families who had lost their jobs could put food on the table, buy medicine, buy PPE, cleaning supplies. We're small but growing. I myself have been the parent of a seriously ill child, so I know how important the work that we do really is. And, you know, we look forward to continuing to serve the community.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you very much and good luck. Bonnie O'Brien and Karen Brocklehurst, they received $6,000 and that's for transfusion professionals.
Thank you so much. As always, we're deeply humbled by your gift and we totally appreciate it, especially this year. In March, our 8 programs at the Bergen County Jail pretty much were put on hold. We serve Northern New Jersey, helping anyone who has been incarcerated really get back on their feet and return to their community. Our office closed for a very short period of time, but because we have many clients who are homeless and we receive mail for them, we had to open back up fairly immediately. So since the time that COVID hit, we have been busier than ever. We have a lot of people who are homeless on the streets. We give clothing, we connect them to services, we connect them to mental health. We try and get them shelter. There isn't anything that we don't try to do to help people. Of course, employment is essential, but there hasn't been that many new jobs for people. Your award to us is going to help in a new way because this year we found more and more people coming into us who are hungry. And we developed a program called Soul Snacks so that we will be able to feed them when they come into our office, not with a hot meal, but with something maybe we can put in their pockets that they can take with them so that they have something to eat when they're out on the streets. The situation that we're in has continued to be devastating to many people, but there are more and more people who are coming through. And one thing I'd like to offer to the many nonprofits that are on this call is that due to people cleaning out their closets because they've been home, we've received so much in donations of clothing. We have an overabundance of women's clothing, if there's anybody that has any need, including women's coats. And I've just heard that we are about to receive I believe, donation of 50 laptop computers. I'm sorry, this is ringing. 50, not laptops, rather 50 desktop computers that we'll be able to share with other nonprofits if they are in need, coming out of a large company that's closing in New York City. So
Fantastic.
anything that we can do to help any nonprofits, we're here. Anything that we can do to help returning citizens, we're here. And again, thank you. We are very grateful and very humbled to receive your award this year.
Thank you, Bonnie, and thank you for that generous office. Somebody actually had asked in the chat if we can supply an email and phone list of all the participants here, all the grant recipients, and I'm sure that George will agree to do that. So you will be getting that via email because it's always great for all this networking that we're doing. And again, this is always a fantastic event where you see how people are working together. Kathy Vioncini and Rich Perez, if you're both on for Valley Program Foundation for Children with Autism, and they received $11,500.
Hi, I'm Kathy Vioncino. I think Rich had to drop off for a meeting. I am a trustee of the foundation. Rich is our president. He supports the Valley program that I am the director of, and it is a program for children with autism ages 3 through 21. We are honored that we have been given this grant this year again. Last year, we received a grant for $5,000 for our older students to start a vocational program, which has been so helpful for them. This year, our money is going to a sensory room, which has been much needed. The program is in existence for about 25 years. We've moved 4 times in my existence here, 20 years. We finally bought a building last year due to the foundation's help. And now we're starting to make this a home of our own, we call it here. So the sensory room is going to be a great asset for our students, all of which have sensory needs for the most part. Again, we've been in and out of school because of COVID, obviously. This week we're out. We're hoping to get back next week, but of course the rates don't look very encouraging, so who knows where we'll be. But we hope by the time they do come back, we will then have been ordered all our supplies and been able to put this room together. We did the construction piece of it, which is great. So we have a beautiful empty room waiting for them. And this money is so going to help us put together something we really wanted for the past 20-something years for our students. So thank you so much. And again, I'm honored to be part of this group and can't thank you enough.
Thank you, Kathy. And we'll go to David Griffith of Vantage Health, and they received $5,000.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's nice to see, actually, it's nice to see new faces.
Yep.
Because we get so used to seeing the same faces in the office because we're so careful about who we're around. So it's really nice to see faces that I haven't seen since last year's lunch. Thank you again for supporting Vantage Health System. For those of you who are familiar with us, we've been around for 63 years. We're a full spectrum mental health organization that offers outpatient care, housing, programs for the homeless. And this year we asked specifically for money for our Northern Valley older adult daycare program to support our hand-to-hand program, which is essentially a group for caregivers. So every dollar that the foundation was kind enough to give us is really going to be $2 in service, because not only does it benefit the program participant, but it benefits their caregiver at home. We, like many other organizations, had to modify to the new times, and we took our support group on the road. We have staff that visits our clients in the house, works with the families, delivers projects to doorsteps on a daily basis to keep people active, and we've been very successful. Vantage has been open without any interruption throughout the entire pandemic. However, 2 populations, our seniors and our developmentally disabled population, were not able to come into program because of the governor's orders or because of specific orders at the division levels in Trenton, but we've been operational fully elsewhere. like other mental health organizations, we've seen a significant increase in the demand for services. We've done our best to meet them. We pivoted to telehealth like others. We've had a significant amount of, I guess, unexpected expenses related to COVID, but we're working our way through that. And we hope to get to the other end. And we hope that the spring will bring us, better times. And if I have to share one great disappointment, it is that we canceled our Christmas party, and Scott Redden, who would normally DJ that event, we will not see him as our DJ. You don't know what you're getting. He doesn't just play music. He's really a wonderful entertainer, and I look forward to the beefsteak now.
There you go.
It'll be a great evening. So thank you very much. We appreciate the foundation's support, and I echo all of my colleagues' sentiments who said it's nice to do this, but it's really better to get in the room with everyone, because we really are so busy that we have so little time to talk to ourselves. I mean, I'm looking in my upper right-hand corner, I see Lil Corcoran. She's literally across the street from me, but we only see each other at functions like this. So Lil, I'm looking out the window and thinking of you. So thank you very much. And I hope to see everyone in person very soon.
Okay, thank you, David. The Volunteer Center of Bergen County, Nina Backrack will speak, and they received $15,000.
Aniki Nina had to leave, but she thanks everyone for their wonderful community efforts. And she'd like everyone to visit them at bergenvolunteers.org to see how they strengthen and improve the community through volunteerism, community programs, community engagement, and civic leadership.
Thanks, Kathy. Lil Corcoran, Women's Rights Information Center, and they received $5,000.
Hi, everybody, and those of you who stayed on. Listen, one of the things I want to say thank you to the Greater Bergen Realtors for and the CARE Foundation is this meeting, to be reminded of how cool it is to be part of this network of folks. And I almost wish that my staff was on the call so that they could hear what all the other agencies are doing, because a lot of what we do is a lot of resource sharing and a lot of making sure our clients get what they need, meeting them where they're at so we can get them to one of you. I will tell you, though, specifically, one of the programs we run is a shared housing program. And even during the pandemic, we matched 15 people to live together. That's 30 people agreeing to live together. I don't know about you, but I don't even like always living with the people I've chosen to live with. So running a shared housing program, you can imagine how difficult that is to match people up. But these are folks that were desperate enough that even during a pandemic, they wanted to move in with somebody else to share expenses. So a lot of what your grant does is help us with that shared housing program. But I want to give you a few other quick things. I know people have been on a long time, but I wanted to mention that the pandemic totally increased our spending on direct client assistance. So, and we're continually looking for ways to continue to fund that. Food, people have talked about it. One woman in particular, I shared, a few people have heard this. I'm sorry if you have to listen to my stories again, but we helped a couple of families that were living in domestic violence or human trafficking situation move into their own apartment. And, we get, one of the things that I've done is started collecting thank you cards. I'm getting, this is just a couple I'm showing you a picture of, from clients who sent us thank you cards. And I want to say, if you donated $1 to any nonprofit, these thank you cards are for you, because we can't help these folks without the support that we're getting from you and others like you. So one mom wrote in particular that her kids were thrilled that they had a closet to put their clothes in instead of having their clothes in a plastic bag. And I was thinking how some of us take for granted that our kids have several closets. And here's somebody saying, my kids are happy that they don't have to dig out of a bag to find their clothes. Little things like that apartment did not have a kitchen. We actually Amazoned a microwave directly to the new apartment so that this mom could cook for her kids. So these are the kinds of things that we're finding that we're spending more and more money on, is basic needs. And it's really nice to know that there's so many in Bergen and Passaic County that are doing the same thing, because we have a lot of clients. It's our community. We want to take care of it. I want to tell you something else that we did that was specific, I think, to women, especially during the pandemic, because the shelves were bare. And somebody mentioned earlier that diapers are not covered by food stamps. Neither are feminine hygiene products. So we did a feminine hygiene product drive, along with other essential needs like shampoo and soap. And we gave that away to over 100 families. And we continue to do that because first of all, there were none of those products on the shelves for a while. And then secondly, even if they're on the shelves, you don't have money, you can't afford it. We're currently giving away winter coats. We expect to give over $10,000 in gift cards for food in this holiday season, and that's not counting the 10,000 we've already given away since the pandemic started. We're working with a consortium of other community-based providers, some of them that were on this call, Kate Dugan being one of them, spearheaded by Community Chest, to serve hot meals through the winter months, where we're supporting both the restaurants, the local restaurants who have been hurt so much by this pandemic, by buying the food from them and then giving it to clients who need to have a hot meal. And while we have hundreds of programs, it feels like, and we also pivoted to an all virtual, we're teaching our computer classes. So I could get into a lot of what we're doing. I'm not going to do that because I know everybody's tired, but I do want to tell you that one of the things that we've spent a lot of time on this year is also increased efforts to bring quality anti-racism training to our local communities. So I want to thank the realtors for funding all of this, and you know, every little bit helps. We take a little bit borrow from Peter to pay Paul kind of thing. So your $5,000 is, I think, meeting basic needs of people in real trouble in Bergen County. So thank you.
Lil, just because you mentioned in terms of your staff, this is being recorded, and you can definitely ask for a copy, as George mentioned. And also, don't think that people, just because you don't see them online anymore, because you guys and you know, Ruthie and Fran have been waiting patiently, they're just off the screen, but they're still, most of them stayed on and are still on the Zoom meeting. So that being said, thank you very much, Lil, and we'll go to Ruthie and Fran. The YCS Foundation received $7,000 this year.
Thank you. For which, of course, Anna Kay, we are so grateful. Can I say last but not least?
I think I said that already in the opening statement, but yes.
And I will say before I do start, I have this fabulous speech, and I promise it would have made you all cry. But after listening to all of our contemporaries, I have to be honest, we are blown away and so humbled by all of the work that people are doing, and how everyone is adapting, you know, during this COVID crisis. The Holly Center that the foundation is supporting so generously this year, as you have in the past, unfortunately, they were not able to go remotely. They were not able to shut down. It was and continues to be business, but not as usual for the 64 children residing in the Holly Center. We also unfortunately have lost 2 staff members at the Holly Center to the COVID crisis. So when you take children who have suffered unspeakable and unimaginable physical and sexual abuse, and then you take away the only people that they could count on in their lives, the aftermath or the damage of this virus transcends so beyond, you know, what we are feeling and what we're all experiencing. So while the Realtors Care Foundation is so generous with us this year, Fran and I have been so grateful that last year your generous donation allowed us to have art therapy, which we were able to continue with the children at the Holly Center. And that grant enabled an art therapist to help these children cope and deal and manage with this tragic loss. And while that, you know, can be quantified by a dollar, the impact is beyond anything that any of us in these cubes can even begin to imagine. And currently at the Holly Center right now, we have 12 positive cases of COVID. So the holidays are not going to be as bright as we would love them to be for our children, but to the best of our ability, everyone is safe, loved, and being cared for. We have staff members who, when we are quarantining, have not been able to go home to their families literally for weeks on end. And that is, you know, a true hero. You know, that's front line. That's something, you know, that makes me cry, because I can't even imagine the dedication of our coworkers. This year, the funds that you are so generously providing are going to enable the Holly Center to purchase a commercial washer and dryer. And if you can only imagine the use that personal washers and dryers are getting in that building while everyone is quarantining, it's just not imaginable. And I think one of the biggest problems we have is so many of our children, you know, have suffered physical and sexual abuse at night. So anuresis or bedwetting, even for a 12 or 13-year-old, is so prevalent and is so magnified during these times. So I promise you, this year's money will go to as good a use as last year's grant. So we love you, we thank you, and just ask to keep the children at the Holly Center in your prayers, as I know you all are. So we are grateful and humbled.
Thank you. I don't know what to say. If you'd read your speech, you probably would have made us cry more. I have nothing else to do than wish you the very best for the Holly Center kids and staff and you guys.
Thank you.
Anna Kate, we do have advanced housing.
Oh, she came on?
Yeah.
Because I was going to mention that Kathy Baviello of Rutherford Senior couldn't. So then let's jump to the beginning. And that was Carolyn Jamie, right?
So,
Advanced housing.
Carolyn, are you on?
And they received.
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes. Thank you, Carolyn.
Hi. Thank you. It was very heartwarming to hear all these fabulous stories from so many agencies and what you're all providing. So I've really appreciated this experience. We are a non-for-profit company that provides services and housing to individuals who deal with mental health issues, as well as homelessness, substance abuse in Bergen, Passaic, and Sussex County. We would really like to thank the Realtors Care Foundation for their support. This is the first time that Advanced Housing is receiving funds. The Realtors Foundation previously supported Alliance Against Homelessness, which has since merged with Advanced Housing. The need for mental health services has dramatically increased due to the isolation and fear that is coming with the pandemic. That's really what everyone is experiencing. Our services are designed to provide individuals permanent, safe, and affordable housing, as well as mental health rehabilitation to improve quality of life, independence, and community integration. We provide services to individuals in the community. We have been providing services since the pandemic hit. We've never closed our doors. We continue to go out into the community, deliver food and medication, take people to doctor's appointments, and provide our community services. The funds that were awarded from the foundation will replace old ripped carpeting in the hallway and stairs and bathroom flooring and fixtures in one of our houses. It's a much needed repair. Currently, the flooring that we have is very ripped. You know, it's a trip factor, and certainly you can't clean it as well as you can a vinyl floor. So that was fabulous. The Teaneck residents, there's 5 people that live in that house, are truly appreciative for the upgrade. And I just wanted to wish everyone good health during this lovely pandemic that we're all dealing with. And thank you again for the funds. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Carolyn. So this concludes the speakers. I want to stress the fact that, you know, this was a wonderful alternative, because I still think we got everybody sort of on the same page and communicating. There were several foundations and organizations have mentioned they're already working together, which makes me feel wonderful, because that's so nice to see how much everybody is giving back and working together. And George, I mentioned they had a request, somebody requested in chat to have an email and phone list of all the people. I think that's a great way to interconnect.
Yep, what we'll do just real quick, we'll circulate a thank you email to all organizations. We'll include the organization's name, the point of contact, the organization name, and the email. This way, point of contact. And we'll also include the link for the recording of this.
That's correct, because one of the people already said they would let Lil actually wants that very much. In conclusion, I want to say that I hope that, there's always Scott Redden and Ruthie and Fran always volunteer at the golf and tennis outing. If any of you want to at least participate in the dinner or come to, when we have an auction actually going as well, you're most welcome to participate. It's nice to see faces. And now that Scott is going to apparently be the disc jockey at the beefsteak dinner in October, I think that many of you can be in the same room and dance together and listen to him and participate in that great fundraiser. That will be in October. The golf and tennis outing, hopefully everybody will be vaccinated by then, will be June 14th of next year. So I want to thank everybody on behalf of the Realtor Care Foundation, the New Jersey MLS, GBR, and the Community Service Program Committee that I think you guys are all awesome. I think that you deserve the kudos, but we're glad to help. Thank you. Thank you for participating, and thank you. It ran a little bit longer than we wanted to, but I think it was all very good information.
Yes, thank you, everybody.
Be safe and healthy.
And Aniki, thank you for all your hard work. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Great work.
Okay, thank you.